substitution, okay? So the very first thing you need to do is just show that you plugged in the correct number to the correct variable, right? And when you show substitution, you need to use parentheses for everything you substitute in. Otherwise, it looks like you're adding or subtracting. So even if it looks like adding, subtracting, but you multiply it correctly, I'm still going to cut you off if you don't use parentheses. Okay? So when we replace the A, what are we going to substitute in for the A? -2. So we need a parentheses with -2 on the inside for A. And then right next to it, we're going to substitute in the B. What do I plug in for B? 32. Good. Then we have a minus sign, so we're just going to write our minus sign. And then we're going to replace A with what? -2. Okay? So anything that was replaced, we plug it in with parentheses. Now we're going to do PEMDAS and all of our knowledge of positives and negatives. All right? So we're going to multiply first. What's -2 times 3? -6. And what do we do with two negatives in a row? Chop, chop. So +2. Sign wars. Who wins the wars? Negative, and we get 4. Okay? Any questions? All right, let's try another one. Oh, sorry. Substituted it. All right, so write that down. We're combining what we know here. We have 2 parentheses -4 -3 minus parentheses -6 parentheses -3. So PEMDAS or grade spot, if you want to do it. Okay. So let's see, Harvard, what would I do first?
Multiply the -6 and -3.
Okay. Multiply, and there's actually 2 things where we can multiply, so we can do that step at the same time. Which one did you just say, Harper? I didn't hear. Yep, we need to multiply this one, and which other one means multiply? Harrison?
2 and 4.
Yeah, 2 and -4. Okay, so Aaron, what's 2 times -4? Good. Okay, then we have a -3, and then I have a minus sign from the problem, and now we have to multiply a negative times a negative. So Nick, what's -6 times -3? Yeah. So this is positive 18, but there's still the negative right here. Make sense? Or you could think of it as 3 negatives. A negative times a negative times a negative is a negative. Okay? All right. And now, Maddie, what are we going to do?
We're going to subtract -3 and get that from -8.
Okay, those are on team negative, so that'd be -11. And Riley, then what do we get for our answer? Yep. Those are all on team negative as well, so they add to a bigger negative, and we get -29. Cancel these negatives here?
Yeah.
So the only time you can cancel negatives is when they're right in a row. Okay? Otherwise, they join team negative. But this would be positive. All right. Go ahead and write this down. X minus x times y. And we're substituting in -3 and -2. All right, so Holly, what do I plug in for x? Good, so use parentheses anytime you replace a variable with a number. Okay, now I have a minus, and then I have this x here, and Abby, what am I going to plug in for that x? Good. And then I've got y. We need another set of parentheses. Kieran, what do I plug in for y? Good. So parentheses for every single thing we plugged in, and then don't forget the minus sign there in the middle. All right, now we need to figure out what goes next. So Bella, what do you think we should do next?
Multiply -3 times.
Yep. Very good. So I've got this -3 here. I've got this minus sign, and now I have a -3 times a -2. So Anna, what would that be?
Being +6.
Good. It'd be +6 when I do these, but then that negative stays, so we do end up with a -6. Okay. And then Zach, what's my answer?
+3.
All on team negative. So a negative and another negative make a bigger negative. evaluate. So now I have negative x times y minus x if x is negative 3 and y is negative 2.
Why is there a negative in front of negative 3?
Why is there a negative in front of what?
X, because x is negative 3.
So there's two negatives. There's one from the substitution part and one from the thing you're plugging in. Okay? So we're going to rewrite this negative sign. Okay? That one just stays. Then we're going to substitute in for x. Then we're going to substitute in for y. Then we have this minus sign. And then we're going to substitute in for x. Okay. So Will, what am I going to plug in for x?
Negative 3.
Okay, so negative 3 goes in for this one, for x, and this one, for x. And Kayla, what am I going to plug in for y? Hannah, what am I going to plug in for y?
2.
That's so good.
Or negative 2.
Okay. Alright, so Thomas, what should I do next?
The multiplying negative 2 and negative 3.
Okay. What's negative 2 times negative 3? Good. And then there's this negative sign, right? So we actually have negative 6. And then, Jacob, what do I do here?
You're gonna take away the two negatives, and so it's negative 6.
Are we multiplying there?
No. Plus.
Yep. Two negatives in a row, change to plus. Now we do sign wars, and Zach, what do I get for my answer?
3.
Who wins the war?
Negative.
Negatives. So negative 3, because negative 6 is bigger.